Hello and welcome to another video from Shadow Podcast. I am of course Wink, and in this episode I'm going to be talking to you guys about what mods you should be focusing on slicing from 6E all the way up to 6A. The secondaries you should focus on and that sort of stuff. We are about to be getting those material from Galactic Challenges effectively tomorrow, as of the date I am making this video, and you are going to want to be focusing on mods that you may not necessarily be using on some of your top tier teams, maybe on your arena team or anything like that. There are actually very few mods that I have on my arena team that I am going to be focusing on slicing from 6E to 6A, and that's primarily because the number of good secondaries that you have actually matter. And of course, as you probably already know, you will be increasing secondary stats one at a time as you go from 6E to 6D and 6D to 6C, etc. And they actually cap at 5 hits. So if you have a secondary speed that's hit 5 times and it's 23 speed, you're stuck there. You're going to have to be increasing secondary stats, but that of course does increase the chance of increasing a secondary stat that you actually want to increase. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go to my mods, and I'm going to kind of give you guys a rundown of the mods that I am primarily going to be focusing on, and hopefully give you guys some things to think about. I'm only going to search for mods that I already have at 6. You can of course search 5.6 and find ones that you like that kind of fall within these kind of same parameters. There are 2 secondary stats that I absolutely, completely, and totally love, especially now with relics, and that is of course speed and offense percent. I love offense percent. I am also a pretty big fan after those 2 of defense, health, and protection percentage. Those are the primarily 5 secondary stats that I am going to be looking for, and I'm going to be looking for a combination of them. At least 2, if not 3 of them, all on the same mod. Or if they don't have 3 of those, I'm going to be looking for, some other accompanying secondary, like maybe crit chance, flat offense, or something like that makes a mod just absolutely spectacular. So let's start by, I'm going to sort by the crit damage primary stat, and then I am going to hit offense percent and speed, and those mods are basically always going to be good. I have 6 of those that have secondary percent offense and speed. So I'm going to go and I'm going to sort those by speed. Now, as I start going through here, that's on my Supreme Lyric Kylo Ren. That is a pretty good mod. Speed's hit 24 times, and it's got double offense and percent protection as a secondary. That's an absolutely spectacular mod. It's already god tier, obviously. It's 24 speed, but all those secondaries are absolutely perfect for the character. And, well, okay, maybe protection isn't necessarily perfect for the character, but it's pretty damn good. So that is a mod that's going to be pretty high on the priority list. As I start moving down, my Death Trooper has 1.4% secondary offense. That's absolutely awesome. The speed can hit again. That's pretty good. But I've dug through all my mods, and this is one of my favorite mods that I have. And this is what I consider like a prime candidate to slice, and that is the crit damage triangle that I have on Jedi Knight Luke. 116 secondary offense, 2.8% secondary offense, 11 speed, and 1.79% crit chance. And it's a crit damage set. It is an absolute damage dealer's, it's paradise for one of those characters, because every single stat on there is what you want on there. So if I slice this mod to 6A, I will never regret it. There's 0% chance of it. It will always have a home. Even if that speed doesn't hit again, that means it's going to have even better offense, even better crit chance. So there is absolutely no way to lose on that mod. And in the early days of this mod slicing, that's what you're going to want to focus on our mods that basically have no downside. So let's go and look at some offense primaries. I am going to sort by speed because I'm going to look at the square. And this is where I am going to start looking at, you see say on this mod that I have on Darth Vader. It's a really good mod. I mean, every stat on there is really good for him. Crit chance, speed, health percent, and potency. But primarily what I'm looking at is 17 speed that is hit 3 times. So it's averaging, 5.67 speed per hit. So it has a really high average hit of speed, which means it's an even better mod, essentially, which means it has more potential to get 25, 26, 27 speed if that speed were to hit 2 more times. So whenever you sort mods by speed, you want to go through and start looking for ones that have high speed relative to the number of times that secondary stat's actually hit. So, secondary speed with 16 to 18 secondary speed where it's hit only 3 times versus one that's hit 4 times. You should absolutely work on slicing the one that's only hit 3 times instead of the other. So that is another way that I think you guys... There's a good example. The one on CLS, 17 speed hit 4 times. While it does have pretty good other secondaries, the one on Vader, I would absolutely choose slicing over that one. Not to brag, but if you were here originally when mods came out, you could actually have the same secondary stat as primary stat. That did not last very long, but this is a holdover mod that I had not used until this week. I actually sliced it this week in preparation for this. It is percent offense primary with 2.02% offense secondaries, crit chance, tenacity, and 10 speed. So it's never been like a great mod. It's been pretty good, but now that I can possibly increase the speed or the offense on that mod even further, I decided to slice it up and put it on Han because it is an absolutely amazing mod. I'm sure all of you guys will have a few mods that you will go through and you will find that are absolutely spectacular, that just have amazing stats and that you want to work on. The other thing I kind of want to go through is, let's go sort by protection. We'll add speed on there, of course, and let's say defense percent. Those are some stats that go very well together. I don't seem to have very many of those. That's kind of crazy. So I have this one on Hux. I sliced it this week as well. I sliced this one primarily because I had 23 speed that had hit 4 times, which top tier, and then the 1.36% offense was the thing I was actually thinking of, but look at that, percent defense. So that's a mod that's amazing for, I mean, there's no downside to that mod either. More defense is good, especially on protection primaries. So let's look at, I'm just going to sort by mods that have speed, health, and defense percent. I think this is a pretty good place to start, is by selecting secondary stats that you really love and then sorting and just kind of seeing what you've got. So that mod with Jedi Knight Revan, that's one it would take me very long to slice up. It's got 23 speed, 5 hits already. But while I do love health and defense as secondary stats, on that crit damage primary, it's not necessarily the best thing because it's not going to help my Jedi Knight Revan all that much. It might help another character if I moved it, but it's okay. Now, there are a couple other mods I want to talk about real quick, and these are some other ones that I am focusing very heavily on, and these are some 2 circles in particular that I have that have had a very niche usage, but that usage I think is very much getting expanded with the new slicing material. And that is this mod here. This is the one that I have on Grandmaster Yoda. Is a protection primary. It has 5.9% offense secondary. It's completely tapped out on the offense, but it's got flat defense, 4 speed. Don't love the 4 speed. It started out as 3, obviously, and 1.58% health. But, I mean, on every hit, there's a 33% chance that speed increases. There's a 70% chance that speed increases at least 1 time. So a 70% chance that it basically goes to 9 speed. And that's if I take this thing from 6E all the way to 6A. That is a fantastic mod that there's almost no downside to. I already use it on a really good character that carries me through a lot of territory battle and a lot of Grand Arena Territory War matches. So that is a mod that will only get better. This mod that I have on Sith Trooper, it's another one like that. 3.56% secondary offense with 6 speed. That is a great mod, and there's no downside to it. The defense will obviously help survivability of Sith Trooper, which is nice. Because he can actually survive decent, especially with a health primary. There's no downside there. Start increasing that one. That offense or speed may increase again. And then also have a mod like this. So this is kind of the next group of mods I think you should focus on are ones that have low speed, but already hit really, really well on other good secondary stats like health or offense percent. Focus on those because you have a lot of mods in your roster that you're probably not using on top tier characters that could be used on top tier characters once they're sliced and be better than whatever you had before, because now you are looking for mods with multiple secondary stats. Multiple secondary stats obviously just leads to multiple good secondary stats. Obviously all have multiple secondary stats, but yeah, you want to be focusing in on mods that really work together, that have a good combination of set bonus, primary, and secondary stats, you know. So crit damage and offense and crit chance set bonuses, you're going to want to be looking at the offense primaries, the crit damage primaries, and pairing those with speed, offense percent, and crit chance. And then health defense set bonuses, you're going to be looking at secondary defense, secondary protection or percentage protection, and health percent, along with speed, of course, because speed is the one stat that is great everywhere. I would argue the offense percent is as well. So those are just a few tips to kind of help you guys hopefully decide what mods you want to start slicing up first. And hope you guys found this video helpful. If so, hit the subscribe button and make sure you check out the podcast every single week. Twitch.tv/ShatteredOrder. We will live stream. It's very exciting stuff, or you can catch it in your podcast app. Big shout out to our friends over at Blue Designs who support the show. We really appreciate it. And we'll be catching you guys later.